The Last of Us Season 2 is finally here, and I'm really excited to talk about this. There is a ton of changes and a ton of new additions that I can't wait to talk about. But before we get into it, this video is going to be a little different than usual. If you follow my channel, you've probably noticed that I've been a bit inactive. I've taken a bit of a break, and that's simply just because there's been nothing that I've been excited to make videos on. I've been working a lot. I haven't had a whole lot of time to really focus on doing YouTube, and there's been nothing that I've been extremely passionate about talking about. That is until now. The Last of Us is a huge part of this channel, and it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I love talking about it. Ignore the fact that I look like a hot pile of garbage, because I don't feel super good. I've been a little bit sick, and this video is going to definitely be a result of that. Usually I'd have a lot of edits and cuts and, overlays, video clips, pictures, whatever. I think I'm just gonna let it rip. I'm just gonna yap, and just whatever happens happens. So if this seems like a ADHD nonsensical ramble whatever, that's exactly what it is. My goal is to just get this out, and hopefully that helps me snowball into making more stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video after every episode, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, season 2, there's a lot of changes. I really like the changes that they did in season 1, and I thought that the additional scenes were really good. They added a lot to characters. They added a lot to the story and the universe. They built it and expanded on it, and I thought that was awesome. And so far, I'm really liking the additional scenes into this new season. Some of the changes have me a little bit worried, though, but we're going to talk about that later. There's going to be like a spoilery section towards the end. But yeah, I think that there are a lot of really interesting changes from the game to the show, but nothing that's going to break it by any means. I think if anything, just like before, they're adding and expanding upon the universe and these characters. They're giving these characters more to them, such as Joel seeing a therapist. That's definitely something new. That's something we didn't get before. And the whole character of Gale is a complete new addition, and I'm actually really enjoying it. These are the things that I really wanted from season 2. We already know that part 2 is being broken up into multiple seasons, so that gives us a little bit of extra room for character growth, extra time with characters that we don't get to spend a lot of time with. I talked about this in a previous video, but I think it's great that we're letting these characters kind of grow. One of the complaints about season 1 was it feeling rushed towards the end, and who knows, this season might do the same thing. It might end up feeling a bit rushed, but it seems like they're actually giving us the time to get to know these people, get to know these characters. So let's talk about the characters. The casting. For one, I think the casting's great. Abby, awesome casting. So far, she seems to be pretty spot on. We didn't get to see a whole lot of her, but the additional scene that we got with her, it felt like Abby. If you put physical appearances aside and you just go off of character, mannerisms, movement, speech, all that, nailed it perfectly. The new characters, such as Gale the therapist, awesome. Catherine O'Hara, you have a legendary actress playing a new character, and it's so far working out really well. We haven't seen much of Abby's group, so I can't really comment on that. So far, the actor that plays Jesse is doing an awesome job. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I think they're all doing a really good job. Our returning characters are still great. Tommy, Joel, everybody's doing awesome. We've already seen what they can do, and I think that this is going to just expand upon that, and I think that's great. Dina is a real standout for me. I actually didn't really love Dina in the game. To me, she never fully clicked. I understood her character. I understood why her character was the way she was, But for some reason, there was just something holding me back. And I think it was just, I don't even know. I think maybe just like the overall tone, she felt almost comic relief to me. But I really think this actress is doing an awesome job. Like, anytime Dina was on screen, like, I thought it was great. She's super funny, she's super charismatic, and she definitely has really great chemistry with Bella Ramsey. Let's talk about Bella Ramsey. I've never been in the group of people that hated the Bella Ramsey casting. I can see why. I'm not blind to it. But, like I said, if you can put physical appearances aside and you judge solely based on how they are portraying a character, she nails it. She does a really good Ellie. It's actually pretty impressive. Now, although I'm not a person that hated the Bella Ramsey casting, I was kind of worried when I did start to think about the fact that she's going to have a pretty large, time jump. She's supposed to go from being a young teen to like almost 20 years old. And to me, I just don't think Bella can really capture that age difference. But at the same time, I don't really care. I think she's still doing a good job. If anything, what she's doing is she's adding a little bit more personality to the character of Ellie. In the game, Ellie is pretty much devoid of all that. She's very stoic. She's very quiet. She's very, traumatized and shut off. But in, at least from this first episode, she definitely has a bit more of that OG Ellie personality, and I really enjoy that. I'm curious to see how that changes over the course of the story. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate the casting. I think that Bella Ramsey does a great job. I don't need my actors and actresses to look one-to-one to the character. I just need them to capture what the character is. Honestly, if they followed every single fan casting every time, then every series would have the same 5 actors or actresses. And to be honest, most of them, they see a character portray a similar character in something completely different, and then they box that actor into that. And I hate when that happens. I like to see when characters are brought in from something completely different and get to do something completely different. Like Catherine O'Hara, like, she was an actress from, the 90s, early 2000s who strictly did like comedy roles. And then now you get to see her portraying a very serious role much later in her like career. It's crazy. It's really cool to see. Think about Bill in season 1. You have an actor who's typically portraying a very, kind of like bland comedy, like it, not to sound negative, but a very typecasted comedian playing a very serious role. And yeah, some of that stuff still slips through, but it works. I like to see when actors get to do something different and they actually get to act. Most of the time, fan castings are, hey, I saw this guy who looks like this actor do something similar to what that character did. Let's make him that character. And to be honest, it's not always the best choice. And on top of that, you would have to have an insane casting budget, and it's just not realistic. Anywho, let's move on to the story aspect of it. So the story is being told very differently. It's being told chronologically versus jumping around. At least, so far. This is kind of something I was talking about a while ago. I uploaded a video talking about, where will season 2 end? If they're splitting part 2 into 2 different seasons, how is season 2 going to end? And I talked about how the story probably should be told more chronologically, because it's a huge ask from an audience to kind of switch perspectives, switch who their character they're going to be following between a season 2 and a season 3. It's much easier to capture that in a game because you're playing as that character. In a show, we're simply watching that character, so it's it's much more difficult to capture that. So if I had to guess, then season 2 is probably going to end towards the end of the Seattle section. If you know, you know, but I'm not going to get too deep into that. But it's really hard to know because it seems like the scenes are happening differently than they had in the game. So it kind of feels a little bit like a different reality. Like everything looks the same, everything feels the same, but not everything is the same. It's a lot of the scenes that we're familiar with are going to be changed. So yeah, I'm going to get into a little bit more game spoilers, but the big thing I want to talk about really is the episode is called Future Days, despite the fact that the song Future Days never pops up. Now, if you listen to the podcast, I really recommend it. There's a lot of insight to the episodes that I think is really awesome. And one of the things they talk about is the Future Days and the fact that the outbreak took place in 2003 versus 2013. So technically Future Days was never even, written, conceived, whatever. So there's no way of Joel knowing about Future Days. But if you're familiar with the game, you know that this song is extremely important to the characters of Joel and Ellie. It perfectly captures their relationship, and it's almost like a character in of itself. And the fact that it's gone feels weird. I don't know if it actually is gone or if it's gonna pop up somewhere else. I don't know why it wouldn't pop up in the episode titled Future Days. Is it too much of a stretch of the imagination to say that Joel wrote this song for Ellie, right? We could do something. I feel like there's a handful of things that I need from an adaptation of part 2, and Joel singing Future Days to Ellie is one of those things. It's very high up on that list. For me, it's such an emotional scene. Joel passing on the guitar to Ellie is such an emotional thing. It has so much significance to it, and I don't see them really completely removing that. Obviously Joel does pass the guitar on to Ellie. We just haven't seen that scene yet, and I'm hoping that when that scene does come, whether it's later in this season or maybe even in the 3rd season, I don't know, I'm hoping that it's as satisfying as I'm hoping it is. But that's not the only different scene. There is also another very, very, very important scene, arguably the most important scene in all of The Last of Us Part 2, that seemingly just got passed over. Now, I don't know how to talk about this scene without spoiling the entire game or show, but it's the porch scene. It's the scene where Ellie leaves the party and confronts Joel. They finally air it out. They dish it out. And Ellie tells Joel that she can never forgive him for what he did, but that she would like to. She is giving him the chance. It's the first step towards them rekindling their bond. And in the show, she just completely goes right by. That scene does not happen. And it's actually earlier on in the episode, Dina invites Ellie to come watch the movie with her and Joel, versus the other way around. In the game, it's Ellie that says that she's going to be watching the movie with Joel, kind of hinting that they're working towards rebuilding that, but that doesn't happen in the show. Honestly, there's this new dynamic between Dina and Joel that just didn't exist in the game, which I actually really like. I think that, it does, add to Dina's character more and does make her a little bit more likable. But it's these two decisions that really have me scratching my head. Now, that's not to say that the context of those original scenes, the implications of those original scenes, that's not going to happen later on. It totally could happen in a scene that's completely different and new. And honestly, I like not knowing, but at the same time, it's a little worrying. It's a little frustrating. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it, because those two scenes, they're the scenes to me. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that I feel like I probably could talk about. It's not coming to me right now. If there's something that I didn't mention that I probably should have, call me out in the comments. We can talk about it. But I really like it. I saw one time somebody was like, what is the purpose of The Last of Us TV series? And I started thinking about it, and I came to the conclusion that the TV series is supposed to be like an addition to. You're not supposed to just experience only the TV series. You're not supposed to experience only the game. You're supposed to experience both. And it's because you're going to get stuff in either medium that you're not going to get in the other one. So it's an expanded on, it's a slightly, modified. I think they complement each other really well. I think if you're somebody who has never played the games and you only watch the series, you can go through life only doing that, but it's going to be so much more for you if you play the game too, and vice versa. If you've only played the game, you never actually watched the show, watch the show, because there's extra stuff in there, and I think it's awesome. But that's all. So hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.